see if there's any. I think for this, for its first attempt, it's good. I think it's a great idea.
Where are you?
Especially with like, oh, that club only has 2 meetings a year, I didn't want to make that. Yeah, I mean, I enjoyed it, I know, some more side lights was hoping to see more people
Carrie does that.
that aren't already involved in all of it.
Yeah, no, just a comment. No, Carrie does that. She's actually the secretary to the council, so that's why she's every meeting.
Let's go. Go.
So you say go.
Yeah.
Jim is the secretary to the college.
It's been busy.
No,
It's just,
there's nothing going on.
I hear you say yes. Just to make it through 2 years, so. And nothing goes nice.
That is nothing
As you
happening.
did, Sam, one bad day away.
Yeah. Great.
We've got something to look forward to.
That's more just till the end of the year.
I got a call from the son that
Oh, yeah.
just tell him to write
We've got.
in January. Got her application right now, so don't forget.
That's good.
Which is where it needs to be.
Did we laugh?
I think
A little bit back a few months? Yeah.
It's weather. Yeah, no,
You're all across the state. I think so.
yeah, no kidding.
Brought it in there, take out there, redo agreement.
TJ.
Yeah.
I need to chat with
You need to chat with
you.
me?
Not right now.
About what?
Maybe
Worse, or better, I don't know.
Just to
Yeah,
talk to you,
pretty bad.
get together with you. Talk.
Okay.
It's all good.
It's nothing bad, it's nothing bad. If it's all bad, just put it on next week's agenda.
Yeah. I'm sure.
We'll just keep moving it.
Well, this is, get it over with,
Yeah. Would they help, I guess, how you go?
right? I don't know. There's no, something great happened.
Good. Good.
Yeah. Sometimes you just don't admit to things, but you know.
Yeah, God works in mysterious ways, we don't know it.
He does.
That's why I want to be in the heavens.
Are actually almost done. Yep, they are. About 2 weeks and they'll be done with the digging and all that. Then they'll be coming back to paving and half. Yeah, it's pretty sweet, really. It's the biggest chunk of my roll is almost done with that, so. Dennis is babysitting, making sure everything's right, you know.
Wait till 26 when you turn the water on.
I was looking at that today.
It's like cranking on the new sprinkler system, right?
Yeah.
Oh, what?
Houston, we got a problem.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's why there's some new valves in strategic places. Yeah. I wish it was a little cheaper, I would've put in some other ones. But it's all good. It's all good.
Go to the council membership for some more money.
Oh, it's there, I need it, but just trying to be wise so I can get it on the other end too.
Someone's got a screw loose.
That's my problem.
We'll figure it out after.
Okay.
Yeah, that's exactly what it's
Call the meeting to order. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Public comment for any matter not on the agenda, but under the city's jurisdiction. Ms. Clark, I believe
Am I
you
the
have,
only one?
we'll start with you.
Perfect. So my name is Casey Clark, I'm with Big Sky Big Leadership. Our group had previously met with you guys in January about our, group project, the food pantry. We were approved for it on Pine Street, that location is no longer available. So we are looking for a new location that would still be compliant. Some of our ideas are, Jenny Steele's building, Reading Leaves by the extension office, but I do understand that's county owned, so that might need to be stayed on through the commissioners, maybe.
State on
No.
through Montana Department of Transportation.
Okay, yeah, Allison just said to go to the commissioners
That's
on
on
that.
the 12th Street side is, or the,
Build,
The building is.
the building,
this is,
yeah,
this is the.
I
Pantry's all right.
understand, but the building itself is county owned.
I'm unclear, are you putting it inside the building or on the sidewalk?
No, Allison had just mentioned run the extension office location by the commissioners, so
Inside the building,
no,
on the sidewalk?
it would be on the, like,
On the side,
on
On
the
the
side,
side.
yeah.
Okay,
We're
that
like
makes
where the
avoiding-
drive-through is.
We're avoiding Main Street at all costs,
Where the ambulance barn is?
yes.
Or the old drive-through would be cool.
Yep, exactly. And then the fire department, or maybe even Bob's Supermarket. So anyway, those are some of our ideas. We were so close and are so close to having the cabinet ready, but due to this hiccup, we'll be delayed. And need to decide as a group what way we're going. We hope to have a plan by your guys' next meeting that we could run by you, but open to comment on any of these locations if you think there'll be an issue or whatever. We still need to talk to them, this is a new change for us, so. Anyway,
Recognizing that council cannot take any action whatsoever on this, do you have any questions or suggestions for Casey?
Just thank you for not giving up.
yeah, thank you.
If I may, Mayor,
Yes.
the fire department's probably not a great place.
Yeah,
Emergency services, you never know what's gonna happen when an emergency occurs.
yeah, for sure. Yep, I will run it by the group, thank you.
Would add my thanks for not giving up. Hiccups happen, obviously, perseverance is good.
Yes.
Thanks.
Yes, yep. Like we said, if it helps one person, it was worth it, so.
Right.
There you go.
Okay. So you would like to be on the agenda for April 15th?
I will be in touch.
Okay.
We're meeting after this, so we will get a game plan and
All
let
right.
you sure know, but yes, hoping to be on the agenda.
Thanks for the update.
Yes,
Yes.
thank you.
Thank you. Any other public comment? Okay, council has had the minutes from the March 18th meeting. Are there any corrections or additions to those minutes? Hearing none, is there a motion to approve?
Mayor, I'll make a motion to approve the minutes of March 18th.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
It's been moved and seconded to approve the minutes for March 18th, 2025. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That motion is carried. Thank you. The next item on our agenda tonight is the request for street closure from the Lions Club. And that is for the use of Heritage Park. So the street closure would be Pine Street from B to C. I'm reading that correctly, Pine Street on each side of Heritage Park. On Saturday, April 19th, for the purpose of an Easter egg hunt, I believe.
Correct.
Okay.
I flipped my name badge over, so if there is any questions.
So, make a note that we still have a quorum. Yes, we still have a quorum without Councilman Winthrop. So Angie, would you like to add anything to the request that is in front of council?
No, just that, last year was the first year that, we used Heritage Park, and it was way safer. We didn't have any problems with a lot of people crossing the street, cause the last time we had it at the courthouse, we had people blowing past barriers. So that's why we use Heritage Park, and it is quick and to the point, and so the 45 minutes is accurate.
Okay. Any other questions from council? Is there a motion to approve the request?
I'll make a motion that we approve the request for the use of Heritage Park and the blocking of the street there, for the Lions Club Booster event.
Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Okay. I believe that Councilman Brown has the second on that, Carrie, just for clarification.
You got this.
It's been moved and seconded to approve the Lions Club request for street closure, Pine Street from B Street to C Street on Saturday, April 19th from 9:45 a.m. to 10:30 a.m. Any further discussion from council? Any comment from the public? Yes, Mr. Simon?
Would you like us again this year?
Yes, they do have it noted on here that they were going to ask for that, so.
Perfect.
Do you want me to have them get a hold of you
No, it's
personally?
fine.
Okay.
I know about it. I
Okay.
kinda knew that it was out
Okay,
there.
yeah, it's, she has it listed here, we'll ask for, yeah, fire trucks.
Perfect.
Thank you so much.
Any other discussion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That motion is carried.
I abstain, Carrie.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you.
Welcome back.
Oh,
Thank you.
Sheriff Rouser, you have a quarterly report for us?
Yeah. A little bit of everything, like usual. I just want to kind of talk about kind of how busy we get sometimes, and this is back in January. We had one weekend, I think this all started on a Thursday in the city, started with I think it was like Thursday night, Friday, something like that. Individual that went to jail for disorderly conduct, bonded out, same night went back to jail, felony burglary, assault. The next night, part of this was in the city, part of it wasn't. So out of the city, we made a traffic stop. Individual had a $60,000 warrant. This is just right outside the city. Individual was at a house that sells things that probably they should not be selling. So we got probation and parole involved. They were on their way down to do a search of this house. In the middle of that, you guys probably heard about an individual that shot a house in town. An individual stepped out, went into a neighboring yard, took, I think it was like a .270 rifle, shot around through the wall, almost hit the individual inside the house. And then went into his house and proceeded to not listen to our commands. So we had one guy at the house, myself, Under Sheriff Mark Wood, Tony, there's 4 or 5 of us that were at the house and just shot, trying to get him called out. I had SWAT from Lewis Clark County, geared up, ready to go. We were gonna have them come down and do their thing, just so you do know if they do come. You probably get lots of questions. I just had a SWAT training on kind of how they operate. Life is always before property, so that's their new thing right now. They will just destroy property. So if you get somebody out there, they start ripping off houses and ripping off walls until somebody comes out, typically. Right after we got done with that, we had a suicide. So me and the undersheriff went up and dealt with that while search warrants being wrote on the house in town. Luckily that individual came out, or we caught him trying to sneak out. He's still in jail, $75,000 bond, I think. And then next night, was an individual, it was a convoluted mess, I don't really know, a lot of alcohol, I think. His car ended up, I think, right over here, broken out windows, but he he was at a house all the way on the south side of town, just trespassing, walking in the house, and they'd kick him out, he'd go back in, kick him out, and somebody at that house chasing down the street, they ended up in a fight. So that was all just kind of a little bit of a, one weekend here in Townsend. Unfortunately, it happens more and more. We've had a lot of deaths you'll see on here, so a lot of corner calls. I think we are at 11 for the whole county for the year. Last year we ended at 19 for the whole year, so, we haven't had one in a couple weeks, so. So it's been pretty busy, with that stuff. You'll see a few juvenile DUIs, different traffic stops, hit and runs, assaults, a little bit of everything. So, I'll give those to you. And then, real quick, just so I think you were, everyone kinda knows, we obviously have a mill levy that we're trying to get passed again. You know, the mayor was at one of our meetings. If anybody has questions, you can ask me. I did bring some of our fact sheets, if anybody wants one, or two, or three, or four, I can give them to you. If anyone has questions, I'm here.
If you'd leave at least one with us, we can make sure we got it posted, and if anyone comes in
Okay.
wanting to know what's going on, that'd be great.
Okay, yep, I'll leave one or two here.
Are there any questions from council?
I had a few individuals, oh, sorry. I had a few individuals, ask me about what's going down on South Harrison with crazy lady in a ninja suit and.
So,
Yeah.
I gotta be careful about what I say.
Is it a mental health thing, or?
Yes, just so everyone knows, we have done everything we possibly can to try to fix the situation, remedy it. The mental health system in the state of Montana is broken. I would almost say beyond repair at this point. I don't know if they'll ever get it fixed. We've done everything we can, we've been down there multiple times, tried to have conversations. A couple other things we tried to do, nothing has worked. So far the answer we've got is the individual is not a danger to themselves or others. We disagree with that, so that's kind of where we're at.
Who would make that determination?
Hospitals. So like if we have an individual, in like a mental crisis, two things we can do, we can either, well, three. If we can talk to them and calm them down and get them, we got Avell, it's a tablet, they can talk to a mental health professional, try to come up with a plan. If they're beyond that, which in this situation they are, we can take them to the hospital, it's either voluntarily or involuntarily. We'll say that one was involuntarily, but then they go see mental health professionals, which we are not. And the right words have to be said, I guess. And it's unfortunate, it's almost, I was just talking to the county attorney today, it seems like the system now is shifted to just let them commit a felony and victimize somebody, and then they go sit in jail, and that's not the place either, but unfortunately, that's what happened, and we end up with people with pretty severe mental illness in there quite a bit. And that hasn't happened yet. There has been a couple of crimes that were just, you know, misdemeanor and things, trespass. So, yeah, the doctors, if you wanna call them professionals, I disagree with some of that. Crisis response teams, you know, they'll talk to them, but then the struggle that you're facing in the state right now is there's not even a place for them to go. There's, I know, it's all over the state, but, Flathead County, they have an individual who's been in jail for up to 2 years, waiting to go to the state hospital. So, it's I don't know. And to me, they go up to legislation and they all talk and pat each other on the back and say the things to make it seem like they're fixing it. But then, once the session's done,
In
nothing's
the
fixed.
meantime, we have some who quite possibly really is a risk to yourself.
I mean, just seeing the behavior, I mean, it's all of it, but I mean, it's, you know, we've asked the questions, we don't get the answers that we would. But even if they do say, I'm gonna hurt myself, if they go to the doctor and say, I'm gonna hurt myself, yeah, they'll let them know. I was just telling Angie about an individual, even when I was in Mark County and I worked as a deputy, an individual said he was suicidal. I took him all the way to Helen. Before we even could get sat down, they were kicking him out. So I gave him a ride all the way back, and 2 years later, he committed suicide. It's unfortunate, it's sad that they can't get the help they need. And, you know, and some of it, they have to want the help to a point, but, you know, I've had similar situations where they get the help, so I guess this one I don't understand why.
They probably were asking for the help first.
Mayor,
No.
question
Yes.
to Nick.
Yeah.
So that signage is sitting out there, is there anything we can do about that either from your guys' point, City Point? Cause it draws attention.
Yeah, so I kind of talked to Eric a little bit about it, but I don't know where the city compliance on there.
We're working through our ordinances in terms of how it relates to public health, and, have been in contact with the property owner. It's a matter of going through the process so that, at least from my perspective, that, anytime we have a property that is looking like it might become a public health
Yeah.
situation, that we are approaching it in the same way,
Yeah.
regardless of who is involved. So we're working through those processes, and at this time, I have no idea where we'll end up.
I did mention to that individual one day, they were in the alley and left a stroller, just so everyone knows there are no kids there currently. So, that was a major concern of people, just because there's toys and things like that, and strollers. There are no kids in the house right now. And I told them to, they gotta keep the alley clear, you can't block the alley. And then, same conversation, I told them, you know, you gotta keep your stuff that's encroaching out onto the road, you cannot get it out on the road, it's gotta stay on next to the fence for now, you know? But, I don't know,
Well, I just think the concern is right across from the tennis court now, the kids are playing tennis and doing all that, and all this signage, it's just, I'm sure you guys probably get 1,000 questions about that whole deal.
yeah, we did, first couple days it was up, and then we kind of know what's going on. It is kind of an eyesore, you know, to follow, you know, like she said, it's probably gotta set the
Process.
precedent, so it's the same for everyone, and, you know, I don't know, it's a. I've been racking my brain for 2 weeks now, pretty much, trying to figure out what we can do. I drive by there 2 or 3 times a day to just see if I can see the individual, make sure they're okay. For the deputies, you see them right, just like no, so I can't know if they're okay for now.
This house is directly behind mine, and they have been there several times this week.
Yeah. Yeah, it's tough, I don't even know. County attorney's been out there with us, so, nothing. Cause once we retain somebody for that, it all turns into, basically the county attorney has to work. And unfortunately, even if individually they go to Warren Springs, then they just push a bunch of pills down their throat and get them better, and then send them home, right back to where they were most of the time anyway, so. It's unfortunate, so.
Are there any other questions from council? Any questions from members of the public?
Thanks for reminding me of that. Okay, this has been a talk of town for the last 2 weeks.
All right,
So,
thank you very much
Thank
for
you.
that report.
thank you.
Okay, I emailed the draft growth policy to council members. Are there any comments or questions on that policy? Tonight, we would determine when we hold a public hearing on it. If council is ready to move.
My only concern, Mayor, is that there's large sections of the appendices that are very difficult to read in a printed form. Did they get printed the way they came out in the PDF? It was mostly the public comment stuff where they seem to have gone in as an Excel spreadsheet, and rather than wrapping text, that it kept it large, it just forced it all into a single microscopic font. Well, none of the appendices are in that. You know, the public comment stuff. as an example, difficult to read. There may not be anything we can do about it.
Will certainly, I can talk to Mr. Badness about seeing if we can do something about that to increase the readability. But in terms of substantive content, is there any reason to delay public hearing?
There's a few things that I'm just curious about, or a question.
Okay.
On page 6, it's got the area of towns within a mile, he said, all the way around. And I was just curious if he had talked, I'm sure he probably has, in contact with the growth policy of the county, because since we're using so much of the county's area around the city.
There, can you address that, Angie?
I do believe that that was a question that the planning board had, and it's a general, circumference of possible growth that they have to take into consideration when doing the growth policy. It doesn't actually interfere with the county's policy, it's just where that possible growth might be.
The wildland urban interface, is it near the city? Like,
Wildlife urban interface?
yeah, like, that goes with like a forest, right? And, I mean, is there anything other than the game preserve is the only one that there's nothing there. Nothing there.
So it would, the interface would include wherever we might have wildlife showing up at our doorsteps.
Which would be.
I'm reminded of a night last winter when I had something like 8 to 10 deer in my backyard.
So it's right at your back.
Yeah, so that would be an interface. In fact, it was really close to being in my face.
Page 25. I was just gonna jot stuff down. Goal one, number 1 is the inferring that the city may connect water and sewer to properties not within the city limits.
Our current ordinances address that within a certain proximity, and I don't know how close that is, but the city could entertain a request from a property owner that's outside of the city limits to connect to city and water, because they're that close.
Even if they're outside of the limit.
Right, but that request would have to come and work through the city process, and could be denied.
But are you asking about the city imposing the requirement on somebody outside the city?
Well, yeah, I just
Or
was
any request
curious
to connect?
if the city had to pay to give somebody outside the city limit, for water and sewer, you'd have to put a sewer system in.
It'd be a matter of connecting to the water mains, and the property owner would pay for that.
Oh, I suppose it's sure, I just wanted I got one more, if you get some.
Sure.
Oh, I'm good. You answered, thank you.
Okay, all right.
That's all I got.
So the requirements for notice on this public hearing is 15 days, which means, given that this is Tuesday, the earliest we could get any notice into the 43 News would be next week's. Wouldn't be in this week's edition, it'd have to go into the 11th.
In other words, the earliest council meeting that could be a public hearing would be the first meeting in May.
Yes, but we are not required to have a public hearing on council meeting nights. We could set another date.
You could possibly do the 29th of April,
Right.
which would be the week before.
As we all pull out
That's
calendars.
They used to be big thick
So
books.
could we possibly do that in the first budget meeting the same night? Just tossing that out there.
And certainly,
This is, the public hearing in this case doesn't require you to read into the record the entire document, does it?
no.
No.
Good. So
Yeah.
in the best case, this
Oh,
is.
come on, my voice isn't that bad, Councilman.
So in the best case, this is like 5 or 10 minutes, and in the worst case, we have a room full of unhappy citizens.
Yes, and let's keep in mind that the growth policy is a guiding document, it is not a mandated, regardless of how the language might read with the recommendations, it should guide us in future decisions in terms of where we might have subdivisions and other
Yeah.
kinds of growth.
I'm with Angie, I've got no problem with 29.
29th?
Sure.
Would entertain a motion to that effect?
I make a motion that we hold a public hearing for the growth policy on April 29th at 6:30 PM.
I'll
Is there-
second that.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded to hold a public hearing on the City of Townsend growth policy on April 29th, 2025 at 6:30 PM. Any further discussion from council? Any discussion from our public? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That motion is carried. Thank you. City County Water Usage and Grading Agreement approval. This is probably one of the simplest agreements on record between two local governments. The only change from last year's agreement is an effective date of today. And is a one-year, is effective through December 31st, 2025. Are there any questions? First of all, TJ Gravely, would you like to comment on this at all?
Sure. So I'm TJ Gravely, I'm the Public Works Director.